Maybe you've been thinking you're behind. I'm here to tell you you're not. You've just finally being seen for who you've always been. The world needs you. The world wants to see you. And now is the time where we allow ourselves to be seen. Thanks so much for being here today. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. I've had the amazingly wonderful privilege of being in marketing space now for 40 years, helping people, not only with the process of writing, publishing, marketing their books to bestseller and everything that goes beyond that, but everything else you can imagine in marketing. I mean, we way predate the internet. We even predate bulletin boards, which predated the internet. We've done things in the manual world. We've done things in sales world. We've done door to door, all those kind of things. And I've had the amazing privilege of working with brand new startup companies all the way up to people running multi-billion-dollar companies. Even, my good friend Errol that I talk about all the time. So cool to get to know him, who actually literally started 47 companies with 0 failures. He went 47-0, sold each one of them for no less than somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million to the last few companies sold for literally more than $1 billion. And he was running at the end of his life a $10 billion a year hedge fund, as well as a multi-billion-dollar a year DNA research fund. It was basically stem cell research. Very, very cool. But I've also worked with stay-at-home moms. I've worked with doctors and lawyers and Olympic athletes, but I've also worked with people who are just figuring it out. Even people who are like, man, I don't have any idea who I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm excited. I love being here for you and with you. And I want you to know today, you are not starting over. You're just starting scene. Today is the day that you put the stake in the ground and you decide fully, powerfully, and completely, I am going to be seen. And then you do the things that are necessary to be seen. So, okay, Steve, what does it take to be seen? Well, and this is going to sound like I'm being sarcastic, and I don't mean it that way at all. But if you want to be visible, you got to be visible. If you want to be seen, you got to be places where people can see you. Now, the easiest way of that is what I'm showing you right here, right now. Devar or Diva or whatever that is. Glad to have you here with us. Appreciate you. The easiest way is to just literally, whether you go live directly onto a particular platform or you use something like I'm using StreamYard, and you broadcast out to multiple platforms simultaneously, you just literally type in a title and a description and you go for it. You are available. There's like 1 billion people or something like that on Facebook now. I live in central Kansas. How about yourself? So you've got access to that. You can be seen. Now, that doesn't mean that if you go live that you're going to have gazillions of people that are on there. In fact, you may spend weeks, months, even years talking to yourself. But because you put the info out there, it's going to be seen. Now, I can tell you, Facebook has lately changed their thing where if you go live, it's only going to be available for 30 days. So you probably want to have it someplace like, for example, YouTube, so that the whole backlog of your stuff. Matthias, glad to have you here. My day is going really good. It's a little bit warmer, and I'm just glad to be here with you. Today, we want to talk about really, truly, I want to bring home to you that you're not starting from scratch. Not at all. No. You are starting right exactly where you are. And that is not at the beginning, okay? Babies, if you were born today, then you're starting at the beginning, Okay. If you're a 5-year-old, you have 5 years worth of experience. I love the fact that my granddaughter, who's now almost 17 years old, oh my goodness, make you feel old. Back when she was 7, she wrote a book. And pretty much the only thing she knew then was that she had a best friend. And what was it like to have and spend time and hang out with your best friend? Great book to be written. Absolutely. Wherever you are at in the process of being you, you have already achieved all the things. You go from the most early stages to not knowing how to crawl, to crawling, to walking, to learning how to talk and tie your shoes, and learn things in school. You graduated from whatever you've graduated from, whether that be elementary school or it be a PhD. You've got those things. You're starting where you are with all of your life experience. Yes, even all those horrendously horrible things that have happened, and even all the faux pas and mistakes that you've made, all of those come together now to this amazingly great place where you get to be visible. You can really even look at it as holy, as spiritual work, as something that you're doing because you showing up in the day that we call today. And you showing up, not I mean, if there's apologies to be made, make them, but, not apologizing for yesterday, not trying to change the past, which can't be done anyway, and not trying to leap forward into the future, but just simply showing up in the day known as today, the very best way you can to make the biggest impact that you can make today. That's why it was so important yesterday. Hey, Tay, glad to have you here with us. No, God does not hate you. Yeah, sorry, Lou, if it feels that way. I know how those days can feel, but no, he definitely does not. Here's the thing. And then why we were talking about it yesterday is, if you're exhausted, you need to take the time and rest. If life has beat you down, the best way to show up today is to take care of yourself and rest. If you're sick, getting well, taking your vitamins, laying in bed, having chicken soup, any of those kind of things. And people in their messages, they crack me up. Yeah. Okay. So it's about being the best that you can be today. And that does include taking care of yourself. All right. That's number one. Number two is that we can't jump into the future. We can't deal with tomorrow until we get to tomorrow. We can show up today. We can ask ourselves, how do I be seen today? That's good to hear, Tay. I'm glad you love Jesus. How can you really truly do the work that you're meant today? Do the work on yourself, do the work that you're meant to do to help others, and just simply show up where you need to be. See, it doesn't have to be huge. It could be as simple as seeing somebody walk outside of your door and just breathing a prayer for them or thinking good thoughts for them, those kind of things. It could be as simple as if you go to a store today, which many of you I'm sure will at some point through today, whether it's a grocery store or you go to get a lunch or whatever, just simply saying thank you to the person who is there at work today and, stood behind the cash register and took your money. Being grateful and appreciative, giving them a big smile. Those are all ways that you can show up today. But the important part is you need to show up. You need to be seen. And in order to be seen, you've got to be seen. You got to go where the people that you're meant to see are and show up as who you are right now. That is absolutely And you need to understand that's not starting over. That's not, doing something that is a reset. That is just simply being. It's just showing up. And you take all of the entirety of your whole life and it culminates each day in the day we call today. Now, what I can tell you is that when you do that, you can embrace and realize how incredibly cool you are right here, right now, with everything you've done, everything you've gone through. And you can then take hold of that identity. Now, there's a whole lot of things we can work together with, and we can talk in more detail about how you can, know better what your passion, your purpose is, and how to use it. Absolutely. But the point is to grab a hold of that identity and understand that now that whatever level of knowing of your identity you have, you are beginning to be the authority, more than anything, the authority at being you. You are Dr. You. You are the best version of you that ever has existed in the world. Yeah, even with all of your faults and failures and all of the things that are going on in this world, everything that you've been through, you have the potential, at least. Now, you don't have to live up to it, but you are poised and ready to show up and be visible and to do the things today that only you can do. And when you do that, it makes an impact. There is absolutely somebody waiting on you that needs exactly who you are, to be exactly who you are, to make the difference in this world that only you can make. People are looking for answers. And the thing that you do so easily that you don't even count it. Luke, glad to have you here with us. That very thing that is so simple for you, there's somebody else that's struggling with it. And what we need to do today is we need to stand up, be seen, take the time, because you're not late, you're ready. So let's take action. Let's do it. There is absolutely time. Christmas is this week. And no matter what religion you are, no matter what you are going to be doing this upcoming Thursday, it will be Christmas Day. And people will be this next week especially frantically buying stuff. And then on Christmas Day, they'll be casually looking for books to read and things that they can do. And you need to be visible. And we can absolutely do that for you. We could totally do that. DM the word amplify if you're ready to be seen. Or put amplify in the comments, either way. And let's get you to the point where you absolutely can be seen. Okay? I'm excited for you. I hope that this is one of the greatest weeks that you ever experience in your life. That you are happy, safe, warm, and loved. That when we get together again tomorrow, which, because I go live every day, tomorrow we're going to be talking about authority isn't claimed, it's revealed. And we're going to give you some tips on how to reveal yours and then share it with the world. And until we're together again then, I hope you have a great week.